I'm Gary Hess, News Radio, WRVA, the voice of Virginia.
Hey, downtown rolling past Capitol Square, Chesterfield grind and everybody's there. Headlights moving only all the arrows. Rich has your back while the morning rolls. Wake up with Rich and win the day. Don't spend your morning playing catch up. Richmond's morning news keeps you on your way. 8 a.m. now in the day.
Oh, hello, everybody on YouTube. They caught me stretching here, getting ready for the Richmond Morning News Brief this morning here on News Radio WRVA. It is 8:04 here on the Voice of Virginia. Listen, first couple hours have been intense. Lots going on right now. Fighting is starting back up in Iran, although the president says we're not back at war with Iran, but we had 90 different targets that were hit last night. Some of those very close to Karg Island, some of those direct attacks at the IRGC, including their barracks. We'll talk about that during Richmond's Morning News Brief. We've now discovered something, and I say this, and we sincerely believe this. If you listen to Richmond's Morning News, you're informed to start your day. If you don't, you might not learn about these stories for days. People are going to be talking about things, and I always hate this. Dave, Super Dave, you ever sit in a conversation where people are talking about something and you have to admit, like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, how do you not know this?
And you just nod your head like a dog.
You nod your like the little dog in the back of the car.
The back of the car, yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of nod your head. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, let me grab my phone. I better Google this. I have no idea what they're talking about. We started talking about the fact that the marijuana laws have been gutted in the Commonwealth of Virginia through the budget process on Tuesday. Dave, we have people right now that are waking up like, what are you guys talking about? Listen, if you miss any of the show, you're stuck. You need to listen to the show. You need to stay on top of these things. That's what we do. And Dave, I'm not bragging. It's not bragging if it's true. All right. But there's a lot of times we will have stories of people like, Herrera, you have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, I haven't even heard that anywhere else. 3 days later, blows up, and he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that.
And we talked about it, like you said, on Tuesday with Tom Garrett.
Yeah.
And you can hear that on the podcast. The podcast is up there. It's on the podcast. You can go back to Tuesday and listen to it.
Okay, here's one. How long, since we've been working together, how many months now?
6 or 7.
6 or 7 months. How long have you heard me talk about the dead enders in Iran and the fact that they don't have the same cultural values that we do, and their point of view is completely different, that they say one thing, do another, and in their culture, that's perfectly fine?
Pretty much from the day I started working with you.
Okay.
That was in February.
February, right? I've been saying this. It's hard to deal with them because they just look at things differently. Now, as you're watching the news, and the MOU is just about done, the negotiations are done, and the president's saying, you can't negotiate with these people. It's amazing watching the news and all these people like, well, you know what we've discovered in the last day or so is that you can't trust the Iranians because they have a different cultural point of view than we do. Have you seen that? I laugh like, we've been saying that since all of this started months ago.
And what did Rush Limbaugh always say? Because the mainstream media, your show prep has started.
I'm no Rush, but yeah, if you hang out with us, we'll tell you what's going on. You'll be ahead of everybody else. All right, with that being said, let's get to Richmond's Morning News Brief, shall we? Oh, before we get going, let me remind everybody, Virginia War Memorial, our listeners showed up big. All those folks from the DMV, God bless you, showed up. They put out the flags, one flag for every fallen member from Virginia. They gave their life and sacrifice to defend this country. They put flags out for each and every one of them. They called it the Hill of Heroes. It is beautiful. It's time to retire those flags now. The 4th of July festivities are over. So tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., they will take up the flags and move them into the facility. And on Monday, July 13th, they'll bundle them up for storage for the year. They need volunteers. A lot of volunteers showed up to put the flags out. Now was where the tough part comes. Now's where I really need the patrons to come out. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., Monday morning, 8 a.m. Please help us retire these flags respectfully so we can use them next year because I believe that Hill of Heroes is now definitely something annual that they'll do at the Virginia War Memorial. Please help me get that done. All right, let's get to Richmond's morning news brief. Number one, Virginia in turmoil over the budget.
Number one.
Welcome to Virginia, California, where Richmond dreams in Sacramento style. We got pot shops coming, lawyers funded, and a budget stacked a country mile. Welcome to Virginia, California, where the
Folks, I've been saying this since I stepped into the studio for the very first time. Don't see my VA, and nobody heard me. Nobody took my warning, and now it's here. So the Virginia budget's been passed. They waited until the very last minute. Maybe. You know what? I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I don't do that here. I don't need to throw more gasoline on the fire. It's raging hot enough as it is. In this budget that they passed, somehow they thought that, let's see, we'll give this money here, that money here, and we'll have retail pot shops. I don't know how that ends up in the budget, but it did. But it turns out maybe it was a clerical error. Maybe it was done on purpose. I don't know. But it's incompetence that the Virginia laws of the books regarding marijuana do not jive and square up with the Virginia laws that we'll have for retail marijuana shops. So one had to go. The current laws had to be amended, pushed out, neutered, if you will. So they did that when the budget comes into being on July 1st, 2026. When did the new retail marijuana laws for retail marijuana sales go into effect? 2027. So I got rid of the old laws, and I haven't started the new laws. So what does that mean? Complete ambiguity for the next year when it comes to marijuana. Prosecution. I have no idea what's going on, and neither do the Commonwealth's attorney, and neither do the Virginia State Police, and neither do the people in your municipality. It is now the Wild West when it comes to marijuana laws because the General Assembly saw fit, and the governor signed it, so she owns it. Marijuana laws that we've had on the books have been watered down, neutered, or don't even really have anything to do anymore through this budget, and the new ones haven't started. So we now have a year of you could basically, according to some, do anything you want. Way to go, General Assembly. That's our big story of the morning. People are just learning that. If you would listen to the show, you would have found out on Tuesday. That's when we told you for the first time. All right, story number two, an update from Fox News. Here's the latest on what's going on between the U.S. and Iran.
Number two.
We've already won militarily. They have very little. They have very little left, and they want to make a deal so badly. They called a little while ago. They want to make a deal so badly. I just don't know if they're worthy of making a deal. I don't know that they're going to honor the deal. That's the problem.
We have no idea what's going on right now. We're not back at a war footing, but we are back engaging with them. The ceasefire is over. I think you have the administration trying two different lanes right now. You have the Vice President, J.D. Vance. He's the one who's like, I don't want any more of this. I just want this to be done. Let's see if we can negotiate. He's led the negotiations. He's owning that. Negotiations are breaking down. You have Marco Rubio like, we need to end all of this and finish this off. So the administration is giving them the olive branch with J.D. Vance saying, hey, listen, come on, let's stop fighting. Let's see if we can work things out. And the more and more they get obstinate, the more and more the administration says, I have no other choice. We need to finish this thing off. So right now we're kind of sitting in with feet in both lanes trying to stop the shooting, but making sure that Iran cannot have a nuke, period, end of story. All right, story number three for you this morning goes back to our first story. The budget took so long to get approved in Virginia, it left school districts scrambling once they found out how much money they were getting from the state.
Number three.
This is just incompetence by our General Assembly and Capitol Square. You waited till the very last minute. Okay, fine, you were playing your games. Retail marijuana, data centers, blah, 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 blah. But there are real world consequences. I wrote an op-ed for The Hill that said, all you do in Capitol Square, you just kind of debate and talk. But everything you do has ramifications in the real world for the rest of us. Here's a perfect example. You waited and waited and waited, messed around, got the budget done at the last minute. What you didn't do is give school districts time to react to your waiting so long to get this budget done. So once you pass it, places like Powhatan, places like Richmond now have a shortfall in what they were projecting for their budgets. You had plenty of time to find money for temporary Obamacare subsidies that you're going to extend, even though they were temporary emergency during COVID. You think these people are entitled to them, even though the COVID emergency is now over. Dave, I checked. The COVID emergency is over, right?
Last I checked, yeah.
Okay, nobody asked to see my COVID vaccination card when I walked in the building?
Not today, no.
Do we have to wear masks?
Not today.
So that means this whole COVID emergency is over. We're not sheltering in place?
I think we're pretty clear.
Okay. Then why do we still have to continue to have those COVID emergency funds for Obamacare? That $200 million, maybe that could have gone to the Richmond Public School District. Maybe it could have gone to Powhatan. You see, when they put this budget together, Louis Lucas, we're fighting for the schools. We're going to fight for the schools.
30 seconds.
Well, they really fought for slush funds and other things. And now you look, I'm going to fight for the schools. You're short of the schools what the schools thought they were going to get. Unbelievable. All right, that's Richmond's morning news brief for today, Thursday, July 9th. All right, coming up on the program, we'll talk with Governor Jim Gilmore. NATO summit over. We'll get his reaction. We'll also talk about what's going on in Capitol Square. That's coming up. And we'll tell you about the dog that we have featured on News Radio WRVA on X, Instagram, and Facebook if you're looking for a puppy to adopt. All right, today's show is brought to you in part by Loan Pronto. Okay, raise your hand if you're smiling ear to ear because you locked in that mortgage rate, 2%, 3%, even 4%. You're like, I am the king of the world. Oh, but I need some